Okay, so I want to go over that answer to that question we did for bonus points about the paradox of crime. I gave you the x and y plane, and I also gave you the indifference curves. And on the horizontal axis, we have dollars for legal activities, and then on the vertical axis, we have dollars from illegal activities. So the initial price or the initial wage is $1 per hour, and so if this person works 8 hours on legal things, he'll make $8. And if he worked 8 hours on illegal things and nothing else from legal things, he makes also $8. And then his initial happiness is actually right there, where he is tangent to the indifference line, and at that point he is to find out how many hours he spent from illegal activities. You simply divide the amount of dollars that he makes by the wage, and that's 5.5 divided by 1, which is 5.5. Right? In this particular case, since wage is 1, it's pretty easy to get the number of hours this person spends on illegal activities. Now remember that the number of hours this person spends on illegal activities is what we interest in this question, but we don't really have that in the vertical axis. What we have is the dollars that this person gets from illegal activities. Now let's say that we're going to charge this person 0.5. We're going to increase crime prevention, and that's going to make it more difficult for this person to actually get away with the stuff from illegal activities. So it's in essence, we're making the wage that comes from illegal activities actually lower because he has to work harder to get the same amount of money that he was making before. So we essentially cut it by half. So what we have done now is if the person spends 8 hours working on illegal activities, he's only going to make $4. Before he was, because his wage is actually cut by half. He gets 50 cents on every dollar he works. Now that clearly is going to reduce his indifference curve, so he's going to be unhappier, and it's actually going to be based on the indifference curve I gave you, which is rather flat. It's actually at that point. Now at that point, that person making $3 from illegal activities. So what that means is that the person making $3, you divide that by 0.5, tells you that this person spends 6 hours working on illegal things. So here's a paradox: you increase crime, but this person is actually working harder on illegal things. Now, the reason has to do with the income and substitution effect. So we clearly know that this person is actually working harder on illegal things. It's consuming less from illegal activities because of two things. Partly, one is because he's going to substitute away from legal activities into legal activities, but also he's actually going to have some income effect. And the key here is that the income effect is actually negative. Let's do the graph to see how this works. So remember that to separate the income effect and the substitution effect, what we do is we're going to take this line right here, and we're going to shift it back into the original utility curve, and that's going to take away the income effect. We're going to compensate this person from the income that person lost by giving the income away and then seeing how much it's going to consume from substitution. If we do that, we end up in that point. And then we can calculate the number of hours at that point, right? But we know that the difference between this and this has to be substitution because the income effect has already been taken away. So, so let me go back here. So the story goes, this person is right here, right? Now this person is actually the wage that he gets from illegal activity is actually higher, so he's going to be back here, and we're going to give the income back to get the income effect out, and the difference between A and B is going to be the substitution effect. So this person is essentially going to consume more of legal activities because legal activities have become cheaper. So he's going to take some of the money some of the time that he was spending on illegal activities, he's going to substitute away to legal activities. But the problem is that he has to work harder to get the same income he had before. The income effect is actually rather large, and it's actually had to be an inferior good because when the income went up, this person actually, when the income went down, this person actually increased consumption. So, so that's the key, is that the income effect, which is in the opposite direction, is an inferior good than the substitution effect, is actually larger than the substitution effect, and this person ends up consuming a lot more than before. So if he were no income effect, this person will actually consume 10 hours of legal activities. Now they're going to consume actually 6. Okay, so that's the answer to this particular problem. It's a little convoluted, but if you go over the answer a couple of times, eventually you'll get it. The main difference here is that we're analyzing illegal activities, kind of the annoying twist on this one, and this is so you can get used to seeing different parts of these problems. If we're working on the problem from the vertical axis instead of the horizontal axis.